I've noticed this trend on social media, you know, us being frustrated, getting mad at this younger generation because they made black culture basically just internet culture. You know, I've heard people get mad at queer community and be like, well, or gay men specifically, and be like, well, y'all just acting like black womanhood, black woman, but when we do it, blah, blah, blah. Like, I've heard all of this stuff, but we don't acknowledge the ways in which we do it subtly every day just by judging the neighborhoods, even if you never lived in the hood, even if that's not your story, because I know all black people have a different story. But listen, in regards to America, at one point, all we had were those neighborhoods. So your family still comes from that history. Your family still comes from that legacy, boo-boo. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to collect these hoes, okay? To pick them up, to lift you hoes up, okay? I am here on behalf of the ghettos, okay? Of the hood niggas, okay? From the barrio to the slums to the village, my nigga, to the concrete jungle, okay? I am here today on behalf of the hood niggas, cause y'all, and your cousins, your auntie and them, y'all done tried it. You niggas tried it. I know when people see stuff like this, and when you hear people talking with their hands, being all animated, voices getting all big, when you hear people, you know, all of this, we automatically assume it's ghetto. All of that. It's stuff that we just know, like, okay, this is when we get in hood. This is when we get in ghetto. Okay? But that's where I want to have a conversation with. That's where I want to bring in the conversation. Because as much as these things, like, may be attached to the stereotypes of what it means to be ghetto and what it means to be hood, it's like, y'all are past the point of being disconnected to the truth and the history of said stereotypes and tropes. Like, in the 90s, it was funny. Now, it's just like y'all niggas are actually disconnected and don't know nothing, or just projecting and perpetuating a bunch of false realities and false narratives, and taking advantage of people's actual narratives and, like, using them to your own advantage, using them to profit off of, using it to feel better, using it to, like, blame something. And it's like, let's talk about it. Why do I care? Why should I be talking about it? First off, my name is Keisha, okay? Insert any hood, anything with Keisha in it, okay? Second off, nigga, I'm from the hood, okay? Born in the 90s, crack baby. Preach, nigga, okay? Like, that's my real life story. No, I was born to parents who suffered from addictions, but not from the ignorant ways that y'all know these stories and narratives. My mother was born in 1950. My mom grew up in the hood in 1950. Can you even conceptualize what the hood in 1950 looked like? Way different. Okay, even the fact that I come from parents who were actually in their prime when drugs were introduced to communities, when everybody was doing it, okay? My mama lived through the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. So by the time my mama got to the 90s as a black woman, the reason why she was even still attached to drugs, you know, like, we know about crackheads. We know about that energy from the 90s. And it's like, y'all talk a lot of shit about those crackheads, but don't never want to tell the stories. Don't never want to tell why it looked like that in urban neighborhoods, or neighborhoods that have been set up to systematically not thrive. But in the white neighborhoods, the rich neighborhoods, the neighborhoods where they got enough money to be functioning addicts, to be functioning sad, to be functioning depressed, to be functionally with mental illness, y'all don't talk the mess. Y'all don't talk the mess. So I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it, okay? Clearly, I got a lot to say. So let's get even more into it, because I'm already into it, but let's get even more into it, okay? I don't think nobody's told you this, but you're obsessed, okay? You're obsessed. And it's not cute. It's not healthy. It doesn't look well on you, okay?
Why are you so obsessed with me?
your obsession with the ghetto is problematic. The way you play into the demise of the ghetto, of the hood, of the black neighborhood, the black culture, the black understanding, the black family, like, you're a part of the problem. You.
So I've been noticing this trend.
You know, a couple months back, it was a little louder. I noticed this trend of people doing pranks where they're acting hood or they're acting ghetto, you know. And I also noticed that a lot of online creators, when they tend to speak, you know, in a way that is uneducated, or when they feel like their energy is getting big or loud, or when they're angry, or, you know, just when certain things pop up, I notice people tend to connect that back to ghetto, or like, oh, let me chill, I'm acting ghetto. Let me stop doing this, I'm being ratchet. Which, first off, ratchet and ghetto, ratchet is new, okay? We talk about ghetto. I feel like ratchet is the child of ghetto, and that's a whole nother thing, because the child always have its own different whatevers. But I just noticed that a lot of these creators, especially the black ones, especially the creators of colors, the Latina dads, okay? The diaspora, the Haitians, all of y'all, okay? The Afro, Negro, all of y'all, everybody, us, okay? Cousins. I'm calling us out, cousins. So this video is clearly to whoever watches it, but I am speaking specifically to people of color. I'm speaking to us, okay? Because, yo, we're the problem. Per. So without even moving forward, for the people in the comments that's ready to come and be like, oh, but what about the Jews? So let's talk about the word ghetto in general, okay? The word ghetto, okay, it is perceived to be derived from a Latin word, but it also has connections to an Italian word, burgetto, okay? So the Latin word, Egyptus, don't come for me if I ain't say it right. But also a Venetian word, ghetto, which means foundry, okay? But the one that says burgetto, which is where they kind of brought it to borough, okay? So either way, the word ghetto has always had a connection to neighborhood, but specifically in Italy, it is, the definition of it is a place where Jews are exiled or Jews live, or essentially like a part of the city where Jews are complied to live or compelled to live. So we know that the word ghetto originally has roots in Jewish history and Jewish tradition. We know that when it was used with Jewish people, it was to systematically oppress them, to create separation, to exile them, to open up the gateways for there to be concentration camps and all of that. So the word ghetto has a very already negative history with it, okay? Especially when you're relating it to the Jewish people and to where its original roots are from. Then you bring those Jewish communities to America, and in the Americas, in North America, the Jews still live in ghettos, but they lived in ghettos with other people. And that's also true for Germany, from some of the research I did, because even when you think about the Holocaust, the Jews were the main focal point, but disabled people and people of color were also a target, okay? It just, oh, the dogs. Ugh. Okay, but they know. I'm speaking about the hood, so the dogs is like, we out here, because we out here. Okay, so you think about the Jewish roots, it already has a very bittersweet and negative history to it. And I believe Jewish communities, I believe they outgrew the word. I believe they used it as, this was given to us and this is a part of our history that is connected to trauma and to so much strife and death in our families and our communities. And so we are going to leave that behind, okay? And so amazing, beautiful, you know. But when you think about the American history, black people, so come the 60s, 70s, that's when the word ghetto really started getting used towards black people. And even in the media, even in the newspapers would say like the black ghettos, you know, they would specifically start making it that way. And when you think about the original roots of it, outside of even the Jewish perspective, but just an exile, a compound, like a place to systematically put somebody in a position where they would be disimportioned and not have everything that they need. It's like, hello, you know, it makes sense why they would transfer that to the black community. But black people, you know us. To know us is to love us, okay? Period. And we take things and we make the best of it. But that's also where we made the best of the word, okay? We didn't make the best of brokenness. We didn't make the best of uneducated. That wasn't the truth. In the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, even when you think about fresh out of slavery, black people were thriving in a lot of those times, okay? Like art, woo, child, this one is deep on my spirit, okay? It's deep on my spirit. So anyway, it started getting popular in 60s and 70s, but as early as 1910 is when it is first known that black people started using. You got to think about it. This is time of segregation. So of course the white people, because they're not really creative, so they're like, oh, let's just call it what we was calling it already with the Jewish people living there. And black people were just like, cool, anyway, whatever, we us. For black people, ghetto represented segregation and the clear understanding that there was a systematic divide, okay? But not all black ghettos were struggling. And I think that's the thing that this future generation has forgotten, okay? Black neighborhoods were thriving at one point, and them being shifted into ghetto or them being given the same energy of how ghettos, especially when thinking about the Jewish connection, are treated is what came to what we know the definition as ghetto today. Does that make sense? You following me? Is you following me? Okay, so let's talk about that. There were many black communities who were thriving and flourishing. Even when I think about my hometown, Columbus, Ohio. In Ohio, there was a community called the Blackberry Patch. Ohio had its own version of the Renaissance, the Harlem Renaissance. At the same time as it was happening in Harlem, it was happening in black communities all over the states, because even if you think about the Chitlin Circuit, it's like that's how we traveled to our little pockets. Well, we have pockets all over the states, and as those pockets started to grow, the systematic oppression, the Ku Klux Klan, all of that came in and was like, forget this, we tearing it down. So many black communities that would flourish and then come and be burned down, or people would be massacred. God dang it, but also like even those things were real. Our neighborhoods, so y'all. These are the things that tore down the black communities. These are the things that enforced the shadowy negative energies of what we know as the word ghetto. Okay, we were educated, we were teaching ourselves. Okay, we had our own schools, we had our own places to do things, and it's like as time wore on, as the pressure wore on, and as our self-esteem and our trauma got bigger, we started having a trauma bond with home because we were trapped there. And so now the way we understand and connect to ghetto is through a trauma bond, because we trauma bond with most things, because that's what humans do. Okay, because we're codependent and suffer from toxic individuality. So obviously over time, with resources, with the lack of investment from within the community as well as outside of the community, neighborhoods start to deteriorate. Neighborhoods start to shift, crime starts to rise, desperation, drugs get pushed into the community, extra patrolling. There's all types of stuff that happens in these neighborhoods to make sure that they kind of stay that the way they are. We all know that's a part of the system. That's just done. Like, we know that's what comes with this territory where we live in. But the thing is, we also as a people stop knowing the histories and the traditions and having real connections with our hood. So in the hood that my mama grew up in, the gangsters was different. The gangsters protected them. The gangsters would not, even somebody had mentioned about the Sha'Carri Richard stuff. Back in the day, somebody would have known that she was a runner and known what she was doing and wouldn't even sold her the weed, because they like, nah, you got something to do. So hit me up when you done. It's like that's what's wrong with the hood. It's not that we too this and we too that and we got too many feelings. What's wrong with the hood is we have lost our values. We have lost our morals. We have lost our connection to home. And we have started believing the truths, the understandings, and the stereotypes that other people have placed onto us. We have allowed those things to speak that into existence for us. Our neighborhoods used to be our safe havens. They used to be our resource. They used to be our everything. Our everything. And as much as they have been systematically torn down, we have long ago begun to sacrifice them and to tear them down and to leave them to rot and to place them into other people's hands. We have to start taking accountability for that. So when we do these pranks, when we take on these stereotypes, it's like that's your way of helping. You are the problem now. Because media influences people and children. People learn about other cultures and lifestyles from what they see on TV and online. And we think about these pranks, like that's helping to fuel the propaganda in a different way. Like that's just as bad as all the crap y'all talk about on BET for them showing all these whack representations of us. It's like, what are you showing that every time you think of something uneducated, something broken, something loud, something too much, that you resorted back to the root of what people think of your culture, your people, and this is for all people, like Afro, Latin, like all the people, Barrio Slum, all of you niggas, okay? I'm calling out all of you niggas, and if you didn't know you was a nigga, I'm sorry. And I'm calling out the white people who be in the hoods too, okay? Perpetrating and falling into the bull crap, okay? Not the redneck ones, because the redneck ones, they just be, it's a way difference between like a redneck, just country, bumpkin, and like a white boy. Like it's way different. Like hip-hop-y, it's way different. Okay, I'm getting off track. I'm getting on track. Anyway, so the pranks, all of that stuff, these loaded interpretations feed into the very thing that most of us are running around acting like we care about or that we represent. The hood is the heart of black people, whether you like it or not. Like black culture and blackness. The hood is the heart of that. Why? Not because of what it is now, but because of what it is the remains of, okay? Because of what it was, because of what it represents. Equating everything you deem stupid or raggedy or unbearable with the original village and home of your family and your ancestors is the same as a white person or a system or other person of color discriminating against, insulting, or disregarding our humanity and our heritage. What is the difference? I don't know. You tell me. Tell me, because I don't know. I'm a little confused. Basically, I'm tired of y'all switching in and out of being ghetto or hood as a negative thing. Okay, so like I'm tired of it. Like I've noticed this trend on social media, you know, of us being frustrated, getting mad at this younger generation because they've made black culture basically just internet culture. You know, I've heard people get mad at queer community and be like, well, or gay men specifically, and be like, well, y'all just acting like black womanhood, black woman, but when we do it, blah, blah, blah. Like I've heard all of this stuff, but we don't acknowledge the ways in which we do it subtly every day just by judging the neighborhoods, even if you never lived in a hood, even if that's not your story, because I know all black people have a different story. But listen, in regards to America, at one point, all we had were those neighborhoods. So your family still comes from that history. Your family still comes from that legacy, boo-boo. Okay? And the real honest truth is most of y'all couldn't even survive in the hoods back in the day. Most of y'all don't have the heart, the audacity, the integrity, none of that to really stand in the hood. Most of y'all niggas are boo-boo, basura. Okay? All I'm saying. All I'm saying is helping to promote a false narrative, which gives people permission to never have to look past that or educate themselves further, which gives people permission to think they know us or to try to be who they say we are and go tell people in the world that that's who we are. Why should we listen to these people? Why should we trust them to be anything but this if the whole world has agreed upon this truth? I know it's trope. It's like we looking like the little boy that cried wolf to everybody, you know? Like, and it's a problem. It's a problem. I love being from the hood. I love my story. I love my narrative. I love what I've had to overcome. I love what I have just been given because I even just grew up in the black community. Because whether it was poor or not, whether there was shit going on or not, like, I'm grateful for the legacy of that. I'm grateful for what it means to come from women who will get up and get it done. Okay? Like, I'm grateful to know what it means to come from people who come together, you know? Because I really do feel like if you was born past the 2000s, you haven't lived in the hood for real. You don't really know what it's like to live in the hood. I grew up in a neighborhood with candy ladies and us staying out late at night because all the parents, the whole neighborhood was watching us. People didn't touch me because they knew my big brother. Like, that's the hood. Y'all niggas know drugs, y'all niggas know drama, y'all niggas know fucking coonery and fucking corruption and like all this other bullcrap, and y'all calling this something that it's not, okay? And y'all need to check yourselves. Y'all need to check yourselves. Like, y'all not hood. You not hood, nigga. Like, and even if you was, even if you are, do better. Act right. Have some class. If you really know the hood, you know that a real hood bitch is gonna be the classiest, most put together, most loyal, most honest woman you ever, a real one, okay? A real hood nigga, I'm talking about like your great uncle's age. Like, maybe not your great uncle, but your uncle. Like, I don't know, not them. We might need to, cause that generation Y, is it no Y? Generation X, y'all. We need to pray for them, okay? I love y'all. We need to pray for y'all. Y'all don't be really getting in touch with y'all's emotions. And y'all, whatever though, if your obsession with the hood is a problem, I know some of y'all gonna be mad in the comments. Drop a comment. Let me know. Because you know what? I'm a real hood nigga. You know? I'm a real nigga. So it's not gonna bother me, okay? Why? Because I have morals, I have standards, I have actual intention, okay? Because I care more about than just myself, okay? And I think we need a reality check. I think there needs to be some real educating about how far we are away from the truth of who we are, okay? And the truth of who we need to be. The ghetto, the hood, is bigger than the trauma bond that we have with it, okay? It is our responsibility to release that and reclaim our village. The hood sometimes speaks Spanish. The hood sometimes is mixed, but in America, the hood was given life by people of color, by black people. And those people need to take back that energy, okay? So stop playing ghetto. Because bitch, this ain't a game. Sincerely, a hood nigga. Don't no one hear the songs. Don't no one hear the rounds. Don't no one hear the songs.